Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Fun filled. And it's going to be a Fed week. Now, I don't think I've been thinking about it. I'm trying to, like everybody else, trying to understand what the Fed is going to do or how can it do it. Are they trapped between a rock and a hard place? In other words, what's the situation out of it all in the end? And I think what's going to happen is that they're probably going to pare back, right? They're going to say, okay, we're going to stop printing so much, right? But at the same time, they're not going to liquidate their big giant portfolio, and I think that's how it's all going to play out. So the markets will have some confidence that the, the the increased stimulation that they've been receiving is going to start to pull back, which means lows, there may not be. I want to say this out loud, and as I say it, as I think it, I start to say, well, maybe not. In other words, when markets get crushed, they may not come back so quickly from the extra stimulation that the Fed has always been doing. But what they will do is they will have a floor that we can feel comfortable with, and that's probably the most important thing of all. So that is what I think we're going to start seeing. They're going to start talking about it, but they have to do something. They have to show the world that they do care about inflation, and they have to do it like in a I want to use the word dramatic, but I don't think they're going to be dramatic, but it has to look like it's dramatic. Okay? Hey Jordan, how you doing? So I think that's what I got it figured out. I think I got it figured out. That's what I've been trying to, I hear different money managers speak, and there's still way too much confidence in the way they see the whole Fed system. So they must be thinking what I just suggested, and we'll see how it's announced. And then once we see how it's announced over the next 48 hours, more than likely it will probably be in the direction I'm suggesting, and that is they will pull back, creating new money, and all they'll do is instead of all that rolling of maturing things, they'll probably allow some of it to go into the marketplace, and at the same time, they will not liquidate the portfolio. So in other words, they're going to hold. They're going to be a buy and hold. That's what they're going to be. They're going to be that long-term investor, buy and hold. And if it goes down 20 or 30%, they're going to be buying and holding. And they're just going to be holding, and that's it. Will they sneak in maybe once in a while if things get a little sloppy? Maybe, but I think that the policy itself is going to be that, and I think that should not crater, as we used to call it, the marketplace in general. In other words, the currencies or so forth. And this morning you could see it up on J4X there and on the Chicago Quant. Matter of fact, there's the J4X. Let's get the spreadsheet up too at the same time. You can see it right there. Just a little pressure. Days upon days now. You can see it's broken down below. We went into a buy, I believe, yesterday. Let me just double check the Swiss, but I think it did go into a buy yesterday. A day buy. Right there. Yeah, we went into the day buy, and it's going to go right back out of it, too. It's going to stop and turn right back down again. You can see right there. Just like it is doing on the J4X. Breaking the line and heading down. In this case here, the J4X has been in a sell for a couple days. And you can see our weekly is doing the same thing today, where it was acting extremely well out of nowhere over the last day and last week. It looks like it's trying to push into the daily sell at the top end of the range. Right there at the top end of the range. So that is what I think we're going to see on the Fed level. And that's what everybody's waiting for. Everybody's sitting on the sidelines to some extent. There's tons of cash that need to come in, to finish off the year. They need to be long. They have to have, a lot of these products in their portfolio. At the same time, the ones who were smart and have had them in their portfolio are probably liquidating, giving it to them, letting them have it. So when the buyers come in, they sell it to them. So it's not driving the markets too wild. And so I think that's where we're at. We'll watch and see, and we'll know in the next 48 hours very clearly here. All right, so there it is. You can see the Swiss. The dollar is weak right there. And same thing right there. Both of them. Oop, right there. There we go. So it's all, just the way it's norm around here. And I guess the biggest thing we can talk about right there is that weekly sell. So it means maybe that, we've hit the top end of the range again. We'll see. Today's what? Tuesday. We've got a whole week still to see this thing play out. But right now, it's below the number. That's what it comes down to. All right. Let's take a look at the euro. You can see it over here on the fact check spreadsheet too at the same time. Line 14, we are 1 day in a sell and 11 weeks in a sell. Let's put her up on the old J4X. And it's lifting up today, showing some life in it. Let's see what it does over in Chicago. So I want to see it. I would love to see that weekly finally turn up more aggressively, and yes, it has right there. Interesting. Very good. So we'll see. This has been at the bottom end of the range. It didn't make it all the way to the bottom, down to the 108 and change. It stalled out at the 111.80 area. Didn't even touch the 46. We'll see if they bounce around this and go back up to the 115 and do that little dancey thing there. And that's pretty much the way the euro is moving. And you can see here the daily is going back into the buy today. It's playing with that. So, and here you can see on J4X, it hasn't given up at all for a couple of days. It's just been holding up and fighting to stay in the buy side of it. When it went underneath, it came back each time. So maybe the dollar is going to see, you would think you would see some type of push again against the dollar and a move towards the other pairs, just for, if nothing else, just the normality of end of year type of thing. You summed up the Fed pretty well. We'll know the true direction of gold Thursday or Friday after the meeting. Yeah, I agree. Let's take, just because you said that, you said the magic words, gold. Let's take a look and see what gold is doing this morning. It's been interesting. It's climbing back up into that weekly buy. Right there. I've been playing around with it for the last 48 hours, looking at it very closely. You see that crazy little dotted line area we talked about. Maybe we should make it like yellow or gold or something like that. Like that. It's that area there. It's playing with it, and this all happened over a 2-day period, which is interesting. Is the fact that it crushes itself, because of all that news. And you can see right there, it's trying to push up into the weekly buy again. I really have to believe that they got to lift this thing. I kind of want to say, I feel confident you'll see your 1820 or something like that, 1815. I just think it's just got to do it. I mean, I just don't see why it's not. It's trying. And that base there, it looks like concrete. I mean, it looks very strong. I'd like to see, we'll see today. Like I said, I don't think they're liquidating the portfolio. Matter of fact, I know they're not liquidating the portfolio. That I have 100% confidence on. But what they're going to do is they're going to pull back on that throwing out new cash, creating new money, and that's what the market wants. And when the market gets what it wants, and it's backed by the Fed, you know what that means? Up, up, and away. Now, at the same time, they may just step up and buy some gold and some silver. Matter of fact, let's see what silver's doing too. I know we're drifting a little bit further from the pairs at the moment, but these are important factors. Yeah, see, it's silver's down for the day, but it's trying. The math is trying to turn up. See that there? And we've been in a long sell. Let's see. There it is, right there. Silver. Where's that? Right there. 17 days in the daily sell. You got to figure that. There's got to be a buy out there somewhere. It's just waiting for a good reason, All right. Back to the cable. Let's see what the cable's up to this morning. They pushed it down yesterday, but stayed in the daily buy. So I was impressed with that. Where are we at? Nope, we don't want to be there. I'm going to go like this. There we are. Right there, there's the cable. Yeah, so they went down again and challenged the number, which is was a tad little surprising to me when I saw that in the afternoon. It was like, what? What are they doing there? I thought they were going to stay up firm all day long. But, they've done that. And you can see here J4X is trying to make the upsides, taking out that lower high. So now it just has to take out that high. And at the same time, you see over here, they are flirting, like the way... It's nice to see the euro do the same thing too, that weekly situation where it firms up. So we're seeing the euro firm up. We're seeing the cable firm up. And I guess they meet today and announce tomorrow. I think that's how the Fed stuff works. In fact, why don't we take a quick look at that on the Dukascopy calendar. You see trading, and the Dukascopy calendar says so today. So what are they doing today? Yeah, that PPI is going to be at the end of this broadcast, this webinar. The PPI comes out, and they're talking 9.2. That's the forecast, 9.2. Previous was 8.6. That's gonna shake them a little bit there. At the same time, let's see what tomorrow brings with the Fed. Let's see, the Fed would be probably one press conference. It's the MBS press conference. Okay, there. And FOM, yeah, press conference is tomorrow. So it'll be, and you got to imagine some stuff will slip out, so forth and so on. So 2 o'clock Eastern Standard, maybe it is? I think it is that. 2 o'clock Eastern Standard, the press conference. So I don't think it's 1. We'll see. But it's tomorrow, and we'll have a better feel for it there. And then we went and we looked at one of our favorites as we drift away from the cable here and see all this, what we already expected out of this. We'll jump over to the Turkish lira. Gobble, gobble. I was surprised walking in on Monday the way they took it up to new all-time highs. That was a tad surprising, and looks like they're doing it again. But look at that. They're trying to sell it down here on the J4X. Let's see how it looks over on the Chicago Quant. Yeah, they're lifting it back up again. Yeah, right there. So it's just a little, we've got the green hankies warning you out of this system, but the two stochastics have been pressing down, which is kind of curious. Has my wonder about it. But over on Chicago Quant, you can see it's doing the same pattern. It's just that it's holding it above in the buys for all those days. And the weekly's been strong for so long. What's it? A quarter of the year now. The weekly's been in a buy. Is it 13 weeks? Yeah, 13 weeks in a buy. Now let's take a look at it in the euro against the Turkish lira. Right there. Not taking out yesterday's all-time high, but lifting up very firm here. I guess they're thinking, why did we even try to sell it down? What were we thinking? I guess, again, end of the year traders, there's going to be all kinds of noise in different ways. You would think there'd be some type of profit taking in the Turkish lira at the end of the year, but how many times have I seen over the decades a calamity in some particular product or area, and just when you think, okay, well, they'll take some profits, oh no, they pedal to the metal and they take off, and they beat it even harder, like a rented mule in Death Valley. Okay, J transitory pal. Oh, so good, middle age. Touche. Probably won't be mentioning the word again. No, he already said it. That's the problem is that Mrs. Yellen refused to even discuss the idea of inflation to begin with. That was the weird part that day. No, Mr. Powell apologized for using the word transitory and realized that it was off. They're saying now the transitory statement and the policy may be now the worst mistake ever made publicly by the Federal Reserve. So, and that says a lot, because what they're doing is degrading the system that everybody, wants to respect. They want to love. They want to trust. And they really, they looked way too political, which is not hard to believe when you figure that, on my side of the political spectrum, what they did in the 2020 election was pretty much criminal. And so, that's why they are doing what they're doing. This is the death rattle. I always keep on saying that to everybody ever since what they did in the November election last year, and that is, this is the death rattle. They've really, I have to say is that that side of the political spectrum did a really good job of hiding who they were. And now what they've done is they've shown everybody who they are. And that's not good, because pretty much people in the States here don't like it, and that's why they've been losing elections left and right in every direction. And the only victories they have is the three that what I would refer to as criminally stole. So that's the problem, is that their short-term victory is not going to turn into a long-term siege. It's going to be their Waterloo. I said that like a couple days after it happened. It's their Waterloo. They don't realize that they are building their own Waterloo. And you saw what happened to Napoleon from the Waterloo situation. All right. So yeah, the Turkish lira is doing its thing. Let's jump over to Canadian. See how it's marching along this morning. See if it's joining in with the rest of the currencies across the pairs trades everywhere. Looks, can't tell. I was gonna say it looks like it, but I can't tell with the the hinkies. Hinkies always hide exactly what's going on. I mean, it could be literally minus at the moment. Right there. No, it is. It's still climbing. Now we got that curve going on here. Oh, you can't see that there. See, there's right there. Now this is still climbing, and we got 3 green hinkies. You see, we got 4 dots here, and it's starting to try to curve. It looks like it wants to go up and touch the top end of the range. A little surprised that they're doing that, but then I guess oil is maybe still in a sell. So that's part of the weakness that you see in the Canadian when you see the weakness in the gold and the oil type of stuff. Let's just take a quick look at oil. Let's take a quick peek. And there is crude oil there. And basically what crude oil is doing is it's pretty much unchanged for the day. So it's not really going anywhere. Yesterday it settled at 71.29. As you can see, it's trading, there's a 29 offer up there at the moment with a 24 bid. And the last trade in Chicago is 23 or 25 now. So J4X is picking it up fine. And you can see a little pressure here. We are, let me just give you a quick view. We are at the moment trying to turn up. You can see that right there. We got a green dot, and we're trying to turn up even with it minus at the moment. So maybe that's why Canadian is like it is. I don't know. I don't know. I can't even. Someone's been making some really strange statements lately about Alberta wanting possibly to be the 51st state of the United States. I don't know. There's some really strange stuff going on. Supposedly, they are a big money maker for Canada. A lot of the tax money comes out of Alberta from the oil and so forth. And I don't know what the rules are like, about breaking Canada up into provinces. But let's put it this way: if they lose the most wealthiest of the provinces, ouch. All I got to say is ouch. Also, that would make it a nice, really easy land road right into Canada. My God, can you imagine the economic explosion we would have up there? Having Canada, it would be like a second giant California in a sense. If they made Alberta the 51st state, and you would have like Canada, Alaska, and Alberta pushing down, the Liberals pushing up. It'd be a very interesting situation there. What else can we say about that? That's where their Cowboys are, aren't they? In Calgary and Alberta and all that. I mean, we end up with more cowboys. I love that. We're a big cowboy fan here. So, oil and cattle. Oh, joy. I love it. And so, an end result is that we've been hearing the strangest stories. And I can't, I doubt it's that easy for them to break up. But I'll tell you, they're not happy. I can tell you that much. They're definitely not happy out there. The liberal East has them all upside down at this point. All right. What else can we say about that? I guess not much more than that. You can see it there. The oil is trying to lift. It's trying, but here on J4X, it's sideways down at the moment. Our work is turning up. So it would be one or the other. We'll turn down and join in, or J4X will follow us. More than likely, usually J4X follows us. So, like 8 point something out of 10 times, it'll follow us. All right, now from there, we've looked at. Have we done this? Oh yeah, so we kind of looked at gold and we looked at oil. So why don't we do this? We jump over to the other pairs now. Where are they at? Where's that mouse up? Let's put that up there. And let's take a look at the South African Rand. What a guessing game! I haven't even looked at it since yesterday. I wonder. I don't even have a strong opinion. I would say, I would think it's going down. I would, but it hasn't. It's going up. It's going up, and it's holding up there. It's in that long weekly. I was hoping that maybe it would start to turn down just for middle age. You would be very happy to see it turn down. Let's see, and let's just put it up on J4X right there. There we go. So South African Rand is dilly-dallying. It's a cowboy term. Dilly-dallying around. In other words, it's not doing anything. It's just stumbling around. All right, now we'll take a look at the ruble. Interesting communications from the European Union and the G7 on the Ukraine situation. In the end result, I'm more on the Putin side, I want to say, but at the same time, I'm very supportive of the Ukraine being independent of itself. So I understand Mr. Putin, he doesn't want to see offensive weapons aimed at him any more closer than they already are. I'm sure he gets enormous pressure from internally. So in other words, he's got to do what he's doing, solely because if he doesn't do what he's doing, he's going to have more problems at home, especially with the leadership. I mean, that's like I said, it's one thing to have offensive missiles aimed at you 400, 500, or 700 miles away, but when they become sitting on your doorstep of only like 50 miles away, it makes it a whole lot different. So, I just want to see all of them to back off. Back off! That's it. Everybody stop picking on each other and go back to your corners. And it seems to be what really is going on as far as I can tell. Sip of tea. So that is where we're at, and so I can understand that. Now the ruble, as you can see, as a South African Rand. Let's put the ruble up there. As you can see, come on, ruble, where are you? Right there. It was flirting it. You can see it here. Even the green line is trying to break the time manifold. The blue, the super side of this, of the formula, the 5 is trying to is below. So they are trying to roll this over. They're trying to tell us that things are not as woolly and wild. Well, you know what the real nervousness is? This is what I think the real nervousness is, besides what I just said. And that is that Mr. Biden, I think I said it yesterday too, the polling on Mr. Biden is the worst any American president has ever had. Nixon's better than Biden at this point. I mean, the polling is just horrendous in every which way. I mean, he has polling where sometimes it's like 68%, 71% are against him now in the country. That's a hell of a big number for a guy that's not even 1 year in the presidential office. and his level of trustworthiness is even lower. So they're worried that he may do something crazy, like war-wise, to try to get everybody to stop paying attention to him. But it's not going to work. So that's the crazy that we're living in right now. I mean, every time you turn around, Republicans are winning in little elections everywhere you look. People are, as I said yesterday, the senator in my district here was considered the most powerful Democrat in the state. Lost to a guy who spent $159. He's a truck driver. He's not even involved in politics. And that is what's going on here. The Democrats are falling apart in every which way, and they're concerned that Mr. Biden would do something crazy, with the Ukraine-Russian situation, and make it like an scapegoat for him. It won't work. People will be even more angry. Matter of fact, there was a couple polls that showed up. Now, this is going to be very fascinating for a lot of people here, but you know how they were giving away free money here in the States? It's all the Democrats have been doing that for over a year. Just giving free money away. Check here for $1,400 and things like that. He goes down in the polls every time they send a check out. People are getting fed up with it. They're saying it doesn't help. In other words, they're saying, send me $5,000, not $1,400. And that's the problem, is that they think that they can feed them crumbs. It's almost like Marie Antoinette, let them eat cake. And that's pretty much what it comes down to, is that the Democrats here have been doing that for too long, and now they're openly doing it. And it's really freaking everybody out. So from the Ukraine-Russian situation to just general politics in the States overall. The emperor has no clothes. And the polls are crushing it. Now, I don't know what you're hearing outside the United States, since we heard there was a big push over the weekend to blame the COVID, and I forget what else they were blaming, but they blamed everything else and said Mr. Biden didn't have anything to do with it. It's the COVID. So the national media is trying to prop him up, and the public finds that to be disingenuous, because the internet is too free still. Even with Facebook and Google and Amazon and trying to hide stuff, they can't hide it forever, or Twitter. They just can't hide that stuff. It doesn't work. So anyway, that's where we're at. All right, now let's jump over to the Japanese yen and see what they're doing with that pair's trade. But that's what's going on with the ruble side of things. You can see the math is picking it up. The ruble is trying to lower itself, kind of relax a little bit. You can see here Mexican peso picking up again. No, I'm sorry, that's the yen. The yen is moving up again against the dollar, and that's not the best of things. It's still in the weekly sell since here. In other words, it's basically sideways. It's just a little underneath the area that it went into the weekly sell. It's just sloppy. There's no conviction and there's no direction at the moment, and I don't blame it. I don't know how there can be. It has to be more of the end of the year, sizing up, as they say, flattening out positions situation. That's pretty much the noise of it all. Now you can see here the peso holding up for the last couple of days, a little bit firmer. It's in a daily buy for the first full day since the close of yesterday. You can see it's in the weekly buy, and maybe we're going to see another move up towards the highs. I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion on it. I was surprised that we broke out of the range ever since that meeting with Mr. Biden with the two leaders of Mexico and Mexico and Canada. They had the meeting about 3 weeks ago now, and it didn't really come out well for Mr. Biden. The Mexican president was in favor of redoing the Trump, in other words, turning the Trump situation back on again. Mr. Biden had gotten rid of it over the first couple of days of his presidency. So he was asking for that, and at the same time, the Democrats are trying to shut down another pipeline going from Canada into Michigan, the state of Michigan, Detroit area, and the Prime Minister of Canada was asking for Mr. Biden not to do that. So it really turned into a real fiasco. Not even sure who even came up with these ideas. I mean, why would they even have these guys sit in the same room? If that they're going to be asking for things that Mr. Biden can't do. mean, some of the people running Mr. Biden's office are very strange. They think that they're the president. Let's jump over to the last one of all. Oh, that is the last one. That's the Mexican peso. So that's where we stand. I would think we might start to see some more strength, especially being in a weekly buy. Let's see what it looks like on J4X here. You would think that's the way it's going to roll, you know, try to point up and make that move. There you go. Yeah, look at it. Where the white line is turning up this morning. You can see that right there. See that action? Right there, it's turning up. See that right there? And what else can we say about that? You see a green hinky there. All right. From there, now we'll go back to, we'll look at the energies, unless anybody wants to see anything particular. Let's check out the energies. And let's see, where's that? Not right there. Right there. Let's do the silver again. Jump right over to silver. And you can see here, it's trying. We're trying to get into a buy here. Love this. Let me give a refresh to this. One day. It's not really moving up fast enough, but it's trying. You can see our work there. Now, I'm really disappointed with this curve here in the weekly. It's still trying to roll over. But, it's trying, and we're even down for the day. But our math is trying to turn up. And after 17 days, you would assume we get a little pop for a few days. But we'll have to see. You have to follow the math. And then we'll go back to gold. Gold seems to be just trapped more than anything else in that sideways up action. Again, it's also down for the day by a couple dollars. But you can see the weekly has turned up and the daily has turned up, and it's trying to do something positive. So, and this looks like the Rock of Gibraltar. Let's make that just thickerish. Like that. You see that? It's just hanging where they crushed it those 2 days, and it's just the one day and the second day, and it's pretty much been hanging there ever since. So there's no whatever conviction from those announcements that day in particular, Mr. Powell's thing. They really are lost, and maybe what they're really doing, middle age, they may be waiting for, as you said, the Fed for the news conference tomorrow. Maybe that's why they're doing that. Ever since they knew that they just could not. Once they made it clear right here that transitory doesn't exist, it's locked itself here. So they gap it down from it, lock themselves, and you got to wonder, why would they gap gold down when he's telling us that inflation is here to stay? Can I laugh a little bit first before I talk again? Oh my God. So inflation, that's like Mr. Biden walking around telling everybody that if he only spends like $5 more trillion, inflation will go away. It's like, who is giving these people this advice? This is insanity. This is crazy stuff. There's no way even describing how insane that idea is. I saw a former vice chair on yesterday with Kudlow. And this guy, matter of fact, Kudlow is pushing him to be the next Fed chair. And Kudlow has a lot of sway on that stuff, And basically they were saying that, they were mentioning that this guy teaches, he's part of the Hoover Institute, and he teaches up at Berkeley or something like that, or Stanford, one of the two schools he teaches at, and in economics. And the question really is that who believes that you can spend more money? Because I guess what he did is he put an article in the Wall Street Journal today, I guess yesterday or might have been Friday, one or the other. He put an article in the Wall Street Journal, and so Kudlow had him in, and he was just basically making it very clear that no, spending more money does not make inflation go away. It's the opposite. The world is topsy. Yeah, I mean honestly. Well, that's what happened. That's what's really doing it. The fact that we don't have a media broadcasting opposition to anything. They're all on board supporting Mr. Biden no matter what he says. Like I said, I understand. I don't watch the general media. I watch things like Newsmax and Business News, that type of thing. Off of now, Fox Business News is a separate company. It's not the Fox News, because Fox News is owned by Disney, which is a bunch of Democrats. So what they did is see that how aggressive they were to take control of that election, to the point where they went out and they bought Fox News, so that they'd have no opposition whatsoever in what happened. So, but Fox Business News is part of the old Murdoch operation that owns the Barron's and the Wall Street Journal. And so now that's the only real Fox I pay attention to, solely because it has all the conservatives in it, like Kudlow and Charles Payne and Marie Bartiromo and so forth, was it Stuart Varney, so they're talking facts every day. In other words, you watch their broadcast, and what they said 2 years ago, it actually happens. What they talk about. But you watch Fox Fox News itself, or ABC, NBC, CBS, Reuters, API. None of that comes to fruition. It disappears. It's all wrong. It always is fake. It's always wrong in the end result. So, and that's how I measure news. I won't pay attention to any news source that says things that are going to happen and they never happen, or they go the opposite direction. I just stop paying attention to them. There's no reason to listen to things like that. So the topsy-turvy really comes from the media not really talking about the facts. Like right now, what are they referring to? That crazy budget that is going to cost $4.9 trillion, and President Biden keeps on going around telling people it will cost nothing. That's why he's dropping so hard in the polls, because people know that he's lying, and he does it right in front of their face on live TV, and that's not good. And so that's why this president has the lowest poll numbers and is disliked more than any other president in American history. And it's really weird. So, because he's got the media on his side. So, if they can't save him, that tells us that the old media has basically died. Another sip of tea there. So yeah, the topsy-turvy will go. It's going to go away because it doesn't make any sense. It's inaccurate. All right, so that's where we are with the gold and the silver. Copper, I was a little surprised. As much as it seems to want to do its own random walk, and be weak, you can see it's really not going anywhere. It's just trapped in that mid part of the range. And the range is like $4 to $4.60, and it's trapped in the 30s. So really not doing much. You can see the daily is trying to turn up. We've been in a weekly sell this is the 5th week now. Let's take a look at it over on J4X, right there. So the metals complex overall is just sideways, really. I mean, when you really think about copper, look at it. Gold is sideways down, copper is sideways down. But it's at the high end of the range. That's the only difference. I think I put a webinar out last week, and I said something like comparing, gold and silver are undervalued compared to copper, or vice versa. Copper is overvalued compared to those two. It's one or the other. Yo, 47. I even took a look at that Gbp Jpy a couple of times since the last time you popped in. Let's see what's going on. I love looking at that thing. We're going to go over to Gbp Jpy real quick and take a look at the currency pair for 47. Right there, we keep it. And I think I updated it even for you. Back then I did. I can see it's in a daily buy now for 3 days now. Today is the 3rd day. There we go. So I remember punching in that day, putting in the daily sell right there. And now it's back in the buy for 3 days. Right there. Weekly is turning a little bit more up. We're trying, you can see that. It's trying. It's got that effort going on. And the daily is trying to push up. It hasn't really gone anywhere from it. It's just in a buy. Just firmer towards the high end of the range type of thing. Nothing too exciting. Would love to see this white line make it through the bottom part of the manifold there. Once it does that, we might be starting to lift again. Let's just give you a tight look at it with our math. This is a real consistent, nice thing. It gets into the weekly sell here. Nice downward trading opportunities. That one was a little weak. This one was really great. That one was okay. This one was really great. So four nice trades out of it in that weekly sell. Goes into the weekly buy. It's fantastic run up. In that daily buy at the same time, really great. You get into a sell, you don't do anything there. The buy actually tries to take some profit from you, or you get out even, I guess, basically. And then you go into another sell here, so you don't want to be long, so you're protected there. And then it goes into a buy right here, and you make some del rey mi again. So there's a couple of good trades out of that. And it's definitely a plus out of that whole weekly buy. And then it goes into the sell, and you can see that same situation occurs. What a great catch that was. And that was really nice. This one was, just gave up a few, profits there, nothing major. But then, boy, does this make you buku money, as they say in Saigon City. Buku money. And so then you got the, basically you got the strength there. And it's in a sell, so you can't take that. But, in the sell there's a nice little overnight win. Winner, little teeny chicken dinner. Hey, Doc, we did that. Okay, good. So I've answered that question. So, yeah, that's not bad. That's the Gbp Jpy gig, as I like to call it. It's a really nice product. It really does trade well. All right, where were we left off where I was rambling about something? What was I rambling about, Middle Age? I was probably rambling about something political and bad business news. That's what it really comes down to. It sounds like I'm talking politics, but I'm really talking bad business news. You can't trust sources that tell you it's going to go, that way, and it doesn't. And every time they tell you it's going to go that way, it doesn't. You got to run away from sources like that. It's not the politics per se, it's just the bad news. They just happen to be political spinmeisters, that's all. They're involved in politics. So they tell you it's going to go that way, not because it's going to go that way, but because it's political spin. We try to dodge that stuff. Let's see. From there, we were over in the metals complex, right? Oh yeah, we were looking at copper. So yeah, copper is doing its thing there. It's not giving up. It's holding very firm overall. Now let's go over to the energy sector, and let's put that in like so. We didn't even take a look at. Let me just quickly take a look at Gbp Jpy on the J4X, just real quick, since we just left it. Yeah. So it's trying to turn up also. You see that strength there. But unfortunately, you see these lines. We're up towards the high of the range. That's why that flat thing going on right there. On the Chicago Quant. It's kind of hanging. It's flat. We need that weekly to get going. All right, let's jump back over to oil. In this case, right there, Earl. So that's the crude oil barrel right itself. You can see it here. We have two of them we can look at. Here's the front month, and that's kind of quiet and playing with a daily buy today. And that is the January contract. And then we also, for a client, we're watching since we have it, let's show it, the June contract, and it's trying to lift up. Both are in weekly sells for weeks upon weeks since the 80s area. And that's what's going on there. Would love to see the green get through this. This could be end of the year situation also. Taking profits. I mean, the thing. Let's just take a quick look on J4X on a weekly chart. Oil. Now, it's got to be up 50% or 100. It's got to be up like 100% for the year, isn't it? I think it is. So there is, what is that? That is March. Okay. Okay, so yeah, that's March. Let's see if we can get that right. There's June. That is, what is that? That is April, right? Is that April of 220 though? What is that? That's November of 2021, maybe? No. Yeah, maybe, I'm not sure. But, let's do this as a monthly. It'll probably come out better looking. But I'd say oil is probably up since the beginning of the year. There we go, that's better. Okay, yeah, so there you go. This is a monthly chart. So we're looking at, it was in the 40s and went to 80. It doubled in price. So someone's got to take some profits out of it. You can't, traders, that's the whole idea. You buy something that makes money, sell it. Take money. Do not lose it. Try to save it. All right, so yeah, that's probably what we're seeing is end of the year movement when it comes to the crude oil itself. That would make sense. Now let's take a look at nat gas. Nat gas is kind of interesting. Same situation. It exploded, with the pipeline situation and so forth, where it went up to like $33 in Europe. It was up like $6.50 here in the States, which was a lot. And we've lost 50% of that, I imagine. Haven't we? Yeah, we've lost like 50% of it. So this thing ran to 6.5 here, no more than in early October, going in from September. Excuse me. And so there it is, right there. There's 6.5. When was that? That was early October. So, and then at the same time, Europe went up to $33. It was a wild explosion in price, and now it's calmed down, and they're selling it back down and so forth, and we're back down into the threes, and they recognized, I guess, that pressure that was going on. We went into the weekly sell up in the sixes, and so it's going down to 3 something. We're flirting around. Almost made it into the buy right there, but didn't do it. And now you can see same situation here on the daily situation, that little pump, and then yesterday it went into the daily sell, and we're in a weekly sell, and it's a winner chicken dinner thing going on there. So the energy side of this is starting to back off, which is again, it could be more of just taking profits for the end of the year. You can see here on the J4, it's the same situation. Take those profits. Now, let's see. Well, the heating oil. Let's take a look at the contract itself. The heating oil that they used in machines, furnaces and so forth. See here, it's trying to roll over a little bit, and that's also in a weekly sell up in here in the 245 area, and it's fallen as almost down to $2, and now it's at 223. So, we're going into the winter here in the States. I don't expect this to back off too much. It should just kind of hesitate in here, and then watch the weather and see how the supply and demand situation plays out. And that would be that's like the normal way of looking at this. All right, there are the 3 sides of the energy we look at here. So, all right, now let's take a look at the stock indices. Unless anybody wants to see anything, just shout it out. Shout, shout, what it's about. All right, what is that? That is the Tech 100, or better known over here in the States as the NQs, or the NASDAQ 100, right there. You see the little pressure that's on that. Still in that weekly sell from that good, the Thanksgiving Friday situation. Pressure has been on it. It tried to pop up to it, and now it's selling back down to it. They're probably just adjusting for the lack of new capital coming into the market, but it's still not going to be liquidated. So they're going to no new Fed money more than likely will not come into the market. But what will happen is that they will not liquidate the portfolio. So it'll be kind of like a middle of the road type thing, And they need to do that for like the next 6 months for the Federal Reserve to get any confidence whatsoever back again, because that is a real hunger there. I mean, real big time of hunger. So that is what it is. Now, let's just take a look at it up top here on a shorter term basis. And we'll go right there. And that's that top right corner. As you can see, it's down only 67 points. It was down 100 and something at one point. It has a little line chart. I'm playing around with, this is for my options. And so you can see here, we went down to a low of 15,971. I think that is the low of the day. Let's just look around. No, low of the day is 60. So it got down to the next one right there. The low of the day was 60.75, 960. And right now, as you can see, it's trading at 1608. So 960, that's 47 points higher. It's bouncing back up. And you can see the pressure on our short term. This is for my option, so I like to look at it this way. So another short call spreads here. And I see this. If it starts to break out, then I start to buy something on the top type of thing. Let's see. Middle Age says still waiting for March corn to get over the $6 area. I think I saw strength in that this morning. Let me go to there. Let's check it out. Yeah, I think I saw strength in the corn. What was it? I saw some weakness somewhere out of it. What was it? Hogs maybe? And feeders. On the agriculture side, I saw weakness there. And let's see. There is March corn. Yeah. So March corn is down. I thought it was up this morning, but it's not. That's about unchanged. And what's the high there? The high there is 94. The high there is 96. It's kind of flirting with that $6 area. Not there yet. Let's take a look at the new crop. The September, we have a client that chases the new crop. Where's it at? Right, it's right there somewhere. Sep corn, right there. And that's feeling the pain. Oh, wait a minute. Why isn't that not filled in? Yeah, see, that's feeling the pain. Just trying to go into a sell here today on the new crop, and that's trading at 556. So the old crop is still almost like $6, as you say. It's just not climbing over it, at this point in time. There's inventory out there, but it's holding up really well. Now that's September, so that's basically new crop. Let's see what was it, March corn? That March corn I just showed you. So we showed you September. I think it's May corn. I have May corn. That's what it is. By then they're going to start having reports on things in May. So let's see what May corn looks like. It's right there somewhere. There it is. May corn. Well, May corn is trading at 586. So that's kind of like the old and some new at this point. It's May. It's still old crop. I guess July. I don't think we have any clients chasing July. Let's see. Do we have July corn? There's the old deck corn. Let's get rid of that. I'll activate that and get rid of it. Yeah, that's yesterday. Okay. But let's see if we have anybody paying attention to July corn. Nothing there. No. Yeah, we have July. There's the July wheat. That's not what we want. Okay. Yeah, so I guess that's the way it rolls. It's just old crop corn is just hanging in there, just by the edge of its chin. Where were we at before we jumped into the grains? I guess that's about it. Oh, you know what was interesting? Beans. Just take a look at beans. Like the front month bean, the Jan bean, right there, is breaking down, which I found interesting. The May bean, which is, I guess it's considered new crop. I don't know. It can't be. It's still old crop. So May beans. Where's May beans? We have someone chasing May beans. And Rob and I were talking about that yesterday. Like, no, we have somebody that uses May. What do they do? No, that's it. The September corn. The September corn is the new crop. That's what we were talking yesterday about. You see, the May is calming down. They hit it yesterday, and it's calming down. Now, the weekly is flirting with that downside situation. So we'll see what they do with there. Oh, you can't see. Sorry about that. Let's fix that. And we'll do that real quick. There's March corn for you. And it's trying to hold up. That's the old crop. And then we can see the, right there's September. You see it's like 40 some odd cents difference. 32 cents difference right there. But it's holding up in the weekly still. Both are. They're both holding up in weeklies. New crop and old crop are holding up as much as they're pushing on it. It's still holding up. So it's probably just end of the year profit taking, nothing more. I don't think it's anything. It's nothing big, that's for sure. And it's trying to hold up. And then what is May corn doing? May corn is the same way. It's holding up. There's May corn. Almost the same price. So they're all holding up in their weeklies. You see, this is just right on the edge. They're all trying to hold up. No problem at all. All right, where else we got going on here? And I'm trying to think what we should use as a title today too for this webinar. How about a Fed, my description in the beginning, because we do coordinate basically the Fed situation, at the same time. So the title today is something like how the Fed gets out of this. How the Fed gets out of it. I think that's the best way to describe it, honestly. And I think that makes a lot of sense. They make it clear they're not liquidating the portfolio, but they are stopping all the new cash being created. So it's kind of like it makes long-term investors feel comfortable, and it makes short-term investors feel like the market's going to trade more actively. I think it's a combination of both. And that's the way I look at it. And that's where we are. So traders, tomorrow, also in a few minutes, we're going to see the PPI. I can't wait to see that. That's going to be a lot of fun. That we should have a short term. What is it? Is it Jordan? Yeah, Jordan. Don't I have one of your short terms on here, don't I? Let's see which product is it? It's the cable, right? Where's it at? 1 hour cable. There it is, right there. So they're lifting it up at the moment. We can leave this running. We can talk for another minute, watch and see. We'll be able to see what the stocks are doing at the same time. That could be interesting too. At the same time, we can see what the stocks, how they treat the stock market. This PPI is going to be like the way the CPI was last week. It's part of the inflation factor. So they're going to have to be fudging numbers all over the place. They're going to make this stuff feel like it's okay. Life is okay. Don't get excited. We have 1 minute and 30 seconds. So we'll stick around for this. Let's just see what the PPI does and see what it does to the currencies too. We should do what should we do? Let's put what do you call it? Like a 1 minute in there. Or is it a 3 minute? What do you follow? You follow a 1 minute too, don't you? Yeah, let's do a 1 minute and see what it does. There you go. There's the 1 minute. It's coming down already with the 1 minute. You can see we went into a sell here. The pressure's on it. Okay, now we're flirting. We got a buy. And we've got, what is it? We've got, where's the clock at around here? Oh, we got 40 seconds. 50 seconds now. We got 50 seconds. So this is going to be interesting. They seem to be putting some pressure on the pairs trades. And I just have a quick curiosity just to take a look. Okay, it's still bounced off of the low range thing. So, and we got about 20 seconds to go. There we are. And it'll be interesting to see that action. On J4X, let's put, there's the Tech 100. There's the 1 minute. And we've got about 10 seconds now. So this is going to be interesting to see how the currencies act out of this. That's same. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. There we are. And there's the Tech 100 trading at 02, 03 evens. Here comes the news. Now this is very sensitive. The Tech 100. See, they're bashing it down. And look at the currencies. Currencies making that dive also. Not too bad on the Tech 100. 982. So it's dropped about 30 handles. Not too bad. Good action. 30-point drop. There's a, let's see, 78, 76. It was at 10. So what was that? 30, 40. So it's 40 points down now from the news. Matter of fact, we should try to see what the news was. So that was it. That's the fun. And you can see the currencies doing the same thing. They're having that. They were front running the news already from it. They already knew. I swear, Forex knows ahead of time. It's the best product to trade, honestly. It really is good. Look at it. Yeah, they're just playing with the down. They're playing with the low is 60, right? So they're 68. They're 67. See if they're going to make a new low. 66, 67, 71. Yeah, they're just bouncing around there, but right at the edge of new lows for the day. 65. You see, this is the way to hold the market up. The Fed stops creating new money, but does not liquidate the portfolio. Those two things are, probably make a lot of confidence. All right, this is Doc from North America. We'll catch everybody on Happy to Hump Day tomorrow. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. All right, traders. Yippee-yi-yay.